Okay, everybody. Today we will do questions on the previous lecture, that is the transport across the plasma membrane. So you will have 15 seconds per the question. So let's go on. Addeetanatti amma gaaffilee gaafa gaddaa barataa turre keessattuu transport across plasma membrane isa jedhu irratti gaaffilee 30 isinii hojjedha. Gaaffilee kana hunda yaaluu qaddanii hundi keessanuu yaalaa irra hirmaadhaa. Gaaffiin kuni sekondii 15tti gaaffii tokkoof isinii kennama. Akkasumas egaa deebii keessan argeen duuba ibsa irra isinii godha waan ta'eef hundi keessanii qophaa'aa. Gaaffiin kuni gaaffii intiraansiiti. Intiraansii kanarraati akka hojjettanuuf isinii qopheesse itti hafufnu. Okay. Question number 1. A plant cell is placed in a solution and becomes swollen, but does not burst. The solution surrounding the cell is most likely A. Hypertonic, B. Hypotonic, C. Isotonic, D. Saturated. Seeliin biqiltoota solutionii ta'e keessaa kaawwame eega saniin duuba bokokeekiin hiitaa'e garuu hin dhoone jedha. Solutioniin kuni solutionii kamii? A. Hypertonic, B. Hypotonic, C. Isotonic, D. Saturated jedhama. Sekondii 15 isinii kenneera yaala. Okay, itti hafufnuti. The cell is placed in a solution and becomes swollen but does not burst. So this tells us that the salt in the cell is more than the salt in the extracellular fluid. So the water moves into the cell and the cell becomes swelled. Such solution is called hypotonic. Why? Because the concentration of the salt in the extracellular fluid is less than the concentration of the salt in the cell. Why? Because it depends, the tonicity of the solution depends on the extracellular fluid. Let's go on to the second question. A red blood cell placed in distilled water will most likely A. Shrink due to water loss, B. Remain unchanged, C. Swell and burst, D. Become plasmolized. It is your turn. Okay. A red blood cell placed in distilled water will most likely. The word distilled water means the water which is almost neutral. So what will occur? The answer is what? C. Swell and burst. Why? The salt of the cell is more than there is no salt in the distilled water. So water comes into the cell and cell becomes swelled and burst. You got me? Maani bishaan kuni bishaan qulqulluudha. Soda kamuu if keessaa hin qabu. Garuu seeliin hamma ta'ee bishaan if keessaa soogidda if keessaa qaba jechuudha. Soogiddi seelii keessa jiru suni bishaan extracellular fluid keessa jiru sani harkisee gara seeliitiin dhufa. Achiin duuba seelii hin boqotti hin dhooti jechuudha. Okay, let's go on to the third question. A student places potato strips in different sugar solutions. Which observation indicates that the external solution is hypertonic? Barataani dinnicha kukkutamee solution yookiin bulbula garagaraa keessatti garagaraa keessa buusa. Eega keessa buuseen duuba observationii kamtu solutioniin suni hypertonicii ta'uu mul'isaa jedha. A. Potato gains mass. B. Potato becomes firm. C. Potato loses mass. D. Potato absorbs sugar. It is your turn. Potato cell, and then the mass of the potato becomes decreased. The fourth question. The movement of water molecules through a selectively permeable membrane from higher water potential to lower water potential is called A. Active transport. B. Diffusion. C. Osmosis. D. Endocytosis. It is a simple question. Now it is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is osmosis. It is the movement of the water from high water potential to low water potential, or from low salt concentration to high salt concentration. That is the definition of the osmosis. Okay, let's go on to the fifth equation. Which structure maintains control what substances enter and leave a cell? A. Cell wall. B. Plasma membrane. C. Nucleus. D. Cytoplasm. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is B. That is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane controls what enters the cell and leaves the cell. So the answer is the plasma membrane. Let's go on to the sixth question. A membrane allows water molecules to pass but prevents glucose molecules from passing. Just here there is the selectivity. This membrane is A. Fully permeable. B. Impermeable. C. Selectively permeable. D. Non-living. Membrane bishaan akka qaxxaamuru eeyyamu garuu glukoosiin akka inni hin seennee fi dhoogguu membrane isa kamii? A. Fully permeable. B. Impermeable. C. Selectively permeable. D. Non-living jechuudha. It is your turn. Use your 15 seconds. So what is the answer? The answer is selectively permeable. Why not A? Why not B? Why not C? Why not why not D? Fully permeable means all substances can move into the cell. So here it prevented what? The glucose. Lagite fully permeable kana onni deebiin ta'ee fi bishaan akka darbuu ni eeyyama garuu glucose immoo darbuu dhoggaa jechuudha. Glucose waa hin darbinee fi hunda dabarsuu hin danda'u. B. Impermeable. This is not also answer. Why? Because it permits water molecule to pass. D. Just shawarichaaf dhufe jechuudha. Let's go on to the seventh question. A plant cell loses water and the plasma membrane pulls away the cell wall. This process is called a plant cell loses water and the plasma membrane pulls away from the cell wall. This process is called A. Turbidity, B. Plasmolysis, C. Diffusion, D. Dehydration, synthesis. Synthesis. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is B, that is plasmolysis. Turbidity, water moves into the cell, not outside of the cell. Let's go on to eighth question. Which transport mechanism requires cellular energy or ATP? Cellular energy or ATP. Transportii armaan gadii kana keessaati ka annisaa seelirraa barbaadu kama jedheera gaafan giddaa viidiyoo irraa sirrii isin barsiiseera deebisa. A. Simple diffusion, B. Osmosis, C. Facilitated diffusion, D. Active transport. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is what? D, that is active transport. What about A? What about B? What about C? Simple diffusion, they do not need either carrier protein or the energy from the cell. B. Osmosis. Osmosis does not require ATP, but it requires the protein channel that is called aquaporin. What about C? Facilitated diffusion. This needs the carrier protein, but not the ATP. Let's go on to the ninth question. Sodium ions are pumped out of animal cells against concentration gradient by A. Channel protein, B. Sodium potassium pump, C. Aquaporin, D. Phospholipid. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is B. Sodium potassium pump, which pumps 3 sodiums out of the cell and 2 potassium into the cell. What about A, C, and D? C. Aquaporin. This is the channel which allows the water to pass, not the sodium. D. Phospholipids. This allows only the non-polar molecules, not ions. Okay, let's go on to the 10th question. Oxygen enters a cell mainly by A. Active transport, B. Endocytosis, C. Simple diffusion, D. Exocytosis. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is C, that is simple diffusion. Okay, let's go on to the Why? By simple diffusion, when you say the phospholipid bilayer of the plasma membrane does not allow ions, sugars, and large-sized molecules. So oxygen, carbon dioxide, these are small-sized molecules. They are non-charged, so they pass the plasma membrane easily. They do not need any carrier protein or the ATP from the cell, so they simply pass. We use simple diffusion for the transport of the oxygen across the plasma membrane. Let's go into the 11th question. A cell placed in a solution has a higher solution concentration inside than outside. Water will A. move into the cell, B. move out of the cell, C. stop moving completely, D. destroy the plasma membrane immediately. Let you continue. Okay, what is the answer? It is A. Water move into the cell. Why? Because there is high solute amount in the cell. Okay. 12. Which factor increases the rate of diffusion? A. Lower temperature. B. Small concentration difference. C. Greater concentration gradient. D. Large molecule size. Continue. So what is the question? The answer? The answer is C. Greater concentration gradient. Okay, let's go on to the 13th question. Facilitated diffusion differs from simple diffusion because it A. requires ATP, B. uses membrane proteins, C. move substance against gradient, D. occurs only in plants. It is your turn. Video barnoota irratti muti video amma asin gaaffii asin dura irrattu hojjedheera isin tameera. Kanaafuu deebisa. So what is the answer? B. uses membrane proteins. But simple diffusion does not use any membrane protein or ATP. Okay, let's go on to the 14th question. A red blood cell placed in a concentrated salt solution becomes smaller because A. salt enters the cell, B. water leaves the cell, C. protein leaves the cell, D. ATP production stops. It is now your turn. Let's go on. So, what is the answer? The answer is B. Water leaves the cell, not salt, not protein leave, no the stop of ATP production. Why? Because the water always moves from low salt concentration to high salt concentration. The concentrated salt solution attract water from the cell, so the cell becomes what? Shrinked or small in size. Fifth question. The main reason cells cannot grow indefinitely large is A. They lose their DNA. B. Their surface area to volume ratio decreases. C. They stop producing proteins. D. Their membranes disappear. It is your turn. What is the answer? The answer is, yeah, it is B. Surface area to volume ratio decreases. Okay, let's go on to the 16th question. Which substance can pass the zero Z phospholipid bilayer most easily? This means which substance does not require ATP or the protein, the membrane protein to pass into the cell. That means which one pass zero Z simple diffusion? A. Large protein. B. Glucose. C. Oxygen. D. Sodium ion. Now it is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is C. Oxygen. Oxygen does not need ATP or membrane proteins as help. Also not large protein, it cannot pass into the cell. Glucose can pass the plasma membrane, but it requires the carrier protein. Sodium ion can pass into the cell, but it requires the protein channel from the sodium, that is sodium ion channel. Okay, 70th question. A student observes that a plant cell remains normal in a solution. The solution is probably A. Hypotonic, B. Hypertonic, C. Isotonic, D. Toxic. Toxic here. It is your turn. Barbari. So what is the answer? Yeah, it is C. That means it is isotonic. Why? If in the solution the plant cell become decreased in the size, it would be the hypertonic. If the plant cell becomes increased in the size or mass, it would be the hypotonic. So isotonic means there is no net movement of the solution or water from the plant cell, so it is normal, there is no change occurred. Okay, let's go into the 18th question. The movement of large particles into a cell by membrane folding is called A. Exocytosis, B. Endocytosis, C. Osmosis, D. Filtration. It is your turn. So what is the answer? Yeah, it is B. Endocytosis. Large particle yookiin partikiliin baay'ee guddaa ta'e gara seelii membraaniin akkas dhamooqatee gara seelii large particle dabarsee jechuu, partikilii guddaa jechuu. Gaafa kana adeemsi kuni maal jedhama jechuu? Adeemsi kuni endocytosis. Endo jechuun gara seelii yookiin in jechuu, gara keessaa jechuu. Exocytosis adoo ta'e gara alaa jechuu. Maaliif amma waan guddoo alaa qabee gara keessaa galche waan ta'eef endocytosis jedhama jechuudha. Let's go on to the 19th question. A cell uses vessels to release hormones outside the cell. The process is A. Phagocytosis, B. Pinocytosis, C. Exocytosis, D. Diffusion. So it is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is C. That is exocytosis, using the vessels to release the hormone outside. Exo means what? Out. Kanaafuu gaafa gara alaa baasaa yoo jedhu exocytosis fayyadamaa jechuudha. Let's go on to the 20th question. Which statement about active transport is correct? Which statement about active transport is correct? A. It always moves substance from high to low concentration. B. It requires membrane proteins and energy. C. It does not require ATP. D. It only transports water. Statementii ammaan gadii kana keessaati sirrii ka ta'e waa'ee active transport sirrii ka ta'e isa kamii jedha jechuu. A. Substance high concentration gara low concentration down the gradient move godhaadha. B. Protein, membrane protein fi energy cell irraa barbaadadha. C. ATP barbaadodha. D. Bishaan qofa dabarsaadha. Now it is your turn. Hujjattuu jirtaniiyyu. So what is the answer? The answer is B. It requires membrane proteins and energy. They can use carrier protein channels and energy from the cell. Let's go on to the 21st question. If a plant cell is placed in a very dilute solution, it becomes A. Flaccid, B. Plasmolized, C. Turgid, D. Dyed. It is your turn. Yad. Yad. Oh, Fide. So what is the answer? The answer is C. It becomes turgid. Why? Because the solution is dilute. The concentration of the solid in that is very low, so water moves into the cell. Let's go into the 22nd question. The protein channels that allow rapid movement of water across the membrane are A. Enzymes, B. Aquaporins, C. Ribosomes, D. Receptors. So now it is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is B. Aquaporins. Okay, let's go into the 23rd question. A membrane protein that transports molecules down their concentration gradient without energy is involved in A. Facilitated diffusion, B. Active transport, C. Endocytosis, D. Exocytosis. Now it is your turn. What is the answer? What is the answer? So the answer is A. Why? All the rest are active transport. Active transport, endocytosis is one part of the active transport. Exocytosis is also one part of the active transport. So the membrane protein that transports molecule down the concentration gradient without energy is involved is the facilitated diffusion. 24th question. Which situation demonstrates osmosis in daily life? A. Perfume spreading in air. B. Salt dissolving in water. C. Raisins swelling in water. D. Food digestion. Haalota armaan gadii kana keessaati ka osmoosisii guyyaa guyyaan jireenya guyyaa guyyaa kana keessatti taasisaa oolu isa kamii jedha. A. Shittoo qilleensa keessa biifuu. B. Soogidda bishaanii walta bulbuluu. C. Waynii yeroo bishaan keessa keenyu, waynii gogaa yeroo bishaan keessa keenyu bokoku. D. Bullaa'insa soorataa jedha. It is your turn. So what is the answer? Barbaad hin ta'in barbaad. So what is the answer? The answer is C. Raisins swelling in water. Wayniin kuni hin goga. Gaafa gogee soogiddi isaa keessa jiru yookiin soolitiin isa keessa jiru guddaa waan ta'eef gaafa bishaan keessa geenyu immoo wayniin kuni bishaan gara keessaa galchaa jechuudha. Osmoosisii maan ta'eera jechuudha fayyadameera seelii reesinsii yookiin waynii gogaa maan godheera jechuudha bishaan gara keessaa galcheera. Kuni fakkeenya guyyaa guyyaanii ta'aa oolu jechuudha. So let's go into the 25th question. If the concentration of a solute outside a cell increases, if the concentration of solute outside a cell increases, the cell will usually A. Gain water. B. Lose water. C. Divide faster. D. Produce more ATP. It is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is B. Concentration of solute outside the cell increase. So the tonicity of the solution outside the cell is increased. So the water in the cell moves towards the direction of the high amount of the solid. So water moves from the cell into the extracellular fluid. Let's go into the 26th question. Which combination correctly describes a hypotonic solution? A. High solute outside, water leaves the cell. B. Low solute outside, water enters the cell. C. Equal solute concentration, no net water movement. D. No water molecules present. It is your turn. It is your turn. Try. So what is the answer? What is the answer? It is B. Low solute outside and water enters the cell. Sorry, water. Low solute outside and water enters the cell because the solute in the cell is more than the solute in outside. So water always moves from where? From low solute concentration to high solute concentration. Let's go into the 27th question. During active transport, ATP is mainly used to A. Break down DNA, B. Change membrane protein shape, C. Produce glucose, D. Destroys the molecule. Yeroo active transportii ATP'n maaliif fayyada? A. DNA caccabsuuf, B. membrane protein shape jijjiiruu fi C. glucose produce godhuu fi D. molecule balleessuufidha. So what is the answer? It is your turn. So what is the answer? What is the answer? A, B, C or D? The answer is B. The ATP is used to change the shape of the membrane proteins. So the molecules, those which are not allowed to pass into the cell, are what? Now when the shape of the membrane proteins is shaped, it comes and goes into the cell. Let's go into the 28th question. A membrane that allows only certain ions to cross is showing A. Selective permeability, B. Complete permeability, C. Cell division, D. Osmotic pressure loss. It is your turn. So what is the answer? Okay, what is the answer? A membrane that allows only certain ions to cross is shown what? The answer is A. Selectively permeability. Only some ions, not all, not prevent all. It selectively transports the ions. Okay, let's go into the 29th question. A student measures the mass of potato tissue before and after immersion in sugar solutions. The solutions causing no mass change is closest to A. Hypotonic condition, B. Hypertonic condition, C. Isotonic condition, D. Toxic condition. Now it is your turn. So what is the answer? The answer is C. That is isotonic solution. There is no net water movement, so there is no change in the mass of the cell. Let's go on to the 13th question. Okay. Which statement best explains why plasma membranes are called fluid mosaics? A. They are made only of carbohydrates. B. Proteins and lipids can move within the membrane. C. They are completely rigged structure. D. They allow all substances to pass freely. Now it is your turn. So what is the answer? Barbad. So the answer is B. Proteins and lipids can move within the cell. So this is the questions from the transport across the plasma membrane. So I think we all did the answer. If you can't, go and read or see my videos I have posted already. So kana fakkaata gaaffilee tiraansii walta qabee asirratti transport across plasma membrane ka jedhamu irratti isinii fi hojjedhee jira. Akka yaadutti hundi keessanuu argattanii sirriitti hojjettanii 27 ol deebichaniirtan jedhee yaada. Maaliif yoo sirri viidiyoo ani asirratti barsiiseeru ilaaltanii kuni gaaffii baay'ee salphaadha. Bifa kana itti fufnaa toopikii tokko yeroo barsiifnu achiin duubatti gaaffilee intiraansii isarraa hojjeta. Dandeettii keessan ka intiraansii hojjechuullee sirriitti jajjabeessaa deemnaa. Kanaafuu ani jiruutuu birraati Asir Daaniilii jedhama. Kana fakkaataa yeroo dansaa haga toopikii biraatti bolta deebinutti baay baay.